All right then. So whenever they come, they will come, and we will start our meeting. Hello and welcome. We're thrilled to welcome you at our speaking club, which is a part of the Pearson Winter Festival program. Hosting this meeting with me today is Sergey Ponomarev, Deputy Director of our Разговорной Academy.
And Tatьяna Yeremeeva, Pearson Learning Studio.
Yeah, as always. So please, I'm highly encouraging you to check out some of our other Winter Festival events. Perhaps some of you have already been to the session given today by Anna Levchenko. She gave a masterclass using Go-Getter book. Yeah, and also maybe someone has attended the session by Bartolomei Yannick on resilience. It was quite a brilliant workshop, very practical, really interesting. And we will have many more events to come tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, yeah, Thursday and Friday. So please make sure to check out Winter Festival 2021 if you go on pearsonlt.ru. So we are going to record this session. It's like an experiment. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But don't worry, the majority of communication takes place in breakout rooms. And what happens in breakout rooms stays in breakout rooms, right? It's not going to be recorded. So should you have any further questions, please contact us, contact the organizer of the festival, russia@pearson.com. Yeah, so shall we get going? Maybe someone else will join, but so far I just wanted to ask you a question. Where are you from? We had a pretty wide geography of people who registered. In the chat, if you could just type the city or a place you're from. Yeah, I guess that, yeah, mostly Moscow, but we have St. Petersburg here. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm just checking the chat box. St. Petersburg. Okay. Kirov. Okay. Welcome, Tatiana from Kirov. Great. Aliya from St. Petersburg. Anna. Hi. Okay. So Moscow mostly. Okay. Another question. Is this the first time you're joining our club? Yes or no? Yeah, maybe you've been here before. I see some familiar faces. Okay. Yeah, lots of newbies. Okay, Alexander, hi. You're the third time attendee. Wow, great. Okay, so about 50-50, yes and no. Okay, and one more question. On a scale from 1 to 5, how are you feeling today? More or less energized or tired already? Hope you had a nice long weekend. Great. Well, not lower than 3. Wonderful. 5, 4. Cool. Cool. Okay, then. So for those of you who are here for the first time, just a few words about our club. We designed it as a safe place for polite and hopefully meaningful conversations, right? You will need to have something to write on and to write with. Yeah, a pen or a pencil will do. We highly encourage you to keep notes of any good vocabulary phrases that you might see in the process of the club or hear from your peers when you talk to them in breakout rooms. Then I have to warn you that, well, it's a good thing actually, we share the slides of our quiz. It's a kind of a traditional thing now. We have a little quiz in the end of the club where we rack our brains, for answers, solving pictograms, rebuses, and some trivia questions. Hopefully you will enjoy them, and you can use it maybe with your colleagues or students. It's up to you. It's pretty original. We designed the questions ourselves. Yeah. Also, we send you a follow-up revision task. Yeah, because we believe in recycling vocabulary, in reusing it. So hopefully you will find it useful. Okay, let me just check the chat. Maybe there are some questions so far. Oh, so nice to see. Great. Thanks to Pearson Festival. Yay. it's not in vain then. Great. So the first question to start to kick off our discussion today is this one. I have been learning English since the age of, please write your number. Like Sergey, how about you?
Well, from 9 years old. Yeah.
Okay, look at that. It's mostly like 7 or 8. Stanislava, 3, and Christina, wow, 3 years. You're like bilingual. Okay, I'm not sure what's the name of the person. It's just a phone number, but he or she says it's 18, 12.
That's me. That's
okay.
me.
You can actually
so
rename
English,
yourself.
Yeah, I'm Tatiana, and English is my second foreign language. My first foreign language is in fact German. So I began to study English at the university.
Cool. Oh my God, look at that. Such a huge diversity. Wow, wonderful. Right, the next question. It's a bit more challenging. Yeah, the thing I love most about English is whatever. Melody, flexibility, pronunciation, or maybe teaching some particular aspect. Let's see what we have here. Okay, we have fans of grammar here. The beauty of the intonation patterns. Pronunciation, yeah, great. Alexander writes that he can express myself using it. Indeed. Yeah, it's a global language, absolutely. Ekaterina writes beauty, global humor. Oh yeah. Songs, I feel you. Sometimes it's very laconic. Yes, English is much more implicit rather than Russian or any other language. That's true. Yeah, speaking the same language as the Queen speaks, indeed. And Tatiana, yeah, is writing about poetry. Cool. So see how many reasons, so many different reasons, which brings us to the first round of our discussion.
All right. So English has become a lingua franca used by people all around the world to communicate. What factors contributed to its rise as a global language? Think of 3 ways to improve your command of language. In what situation does one need to mind their language? Would you ever use offensive language? In what kinds of situations? Some may say it is an effective way to let off steam. Do you agree?
Okay, so please look at these questions like a menu to choose from. Yeah, we will have 10 minutes in breakout rooms to discuss them, but there is no way you can discuss all of them in depth. So it's totally up to you, yeah, whether to choose just one aspect and tackle it in depth, or kind of take a look at all of them, right? So there are 3 ways of keeping track of this language. You can either take a screenshot, yeah, on your computer, or you can use your phone, like a camera. But just in case, we usually put the language input in the chat, yeah, so that you can always look it up, look up the questions and some useful language. So in discussions, you can use some of the phrases like the sheer variety of Englishes is mind-boggling. Yeah, it's just so big, it's mind-boggling. By the way, I sent you a link to David Crystal's little talk. If you watched it, it's going to help you talk about these questions, right? Yeah, some people also say that words have lost all shock value. Yeah, also pretty interesting phrase. Something rubs me the wrong way, it makes me uncomfortable. You could use that in your speech as well. If you try very hard to do something to avoid using offensive language, you can say, I go to great lengths to do that. Okay, so I will put you in breakout rooms. Hopefully, we will have about 3 or 4 participants per room. All right then, so please accept the invitations. Unless there are any questions? All clear? Okay, so please accept the invites.
All right, so we'll stay here in the main session room.
Okay.
Hello, yes, everybody can hear?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So what do you have to say about it?
You mean what factors contributed to English
Yeah.
as a global language? Yeah.
This one, and probably about like 3 ways to improve your command of language. Yes. And about like offensive, abusive language in different situation. Is it appropriate to use?
Yeah.
What do
Interesting.
you think about it? Yeah.
Let's discuss first what made English global language. What do you think?
Well, no, probably,
Okay, let's start.
yeah. Probably, I think it's have a lot to do with the spread of English as like a dominant language in the world. It's got something to do from historical point of view, more like a British Empire expand its like its borders, its influence to other continents, to other countries, and that's how probably English become like universal language of different nations. I think something to do with that. So expansion, probably the word will be like a British expansion to the world. The main reason.
Yeah, that seems.
Are you agree or disagree with that? What about Alia? What do you have to say?
Well, I can't disagree with you just because we all, I think, watched the talk given by David Crystal, where he elaborated on the topic a lot, and he was talking about British Empire influences, but that was in the 19th century, then Industrial Revolution, the financial sector, then the internet, as he mentioned, was exclusively English at the very beginning. So it's very hard to disagree with this point, I guess. And I would also add to this that I think the influence of the pop culture is very big in terms of like proliferation of English. And I still have my students who started to study English just because they wanted to know the words of that very song that they liked, or they tried to emulate the rock bands that they really love listening to, or just to watch, I don't know, Netflix TV series, like the original TV series in English. So there are reasons, but like for youngsters, it's like this, I guess.
Yeah, that's correct. Absolutely. English is the language of the media industry. Yes. And global media. Yes.
And the films, and if we take films, famous movies for the cinemas, most of them are in English.
Yes, absolutely. Like enormous amount of films, TV shows, like popular songs are written all in English.
And people want to know the original meaning. Sometimes it's not conveyed in a proper way, or sometimes people want to know what it was all about initially.
Definitely, yes. You may translate it, but I mean, if you speak English, you won't need to rely on translations. Use subtitles if you want, and again, you can enjoy your like favorite books, songs, films in all in original language, so without translation. So that's a great advantage.
And even if you don't speak English, can I just come in here? Just I remembered yesterday I watched a talk by our Russian actor, given by a Russian actor, Leonid Yermolnik, and he was sharing his experience of watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, first in Russian, but then he doesn't speak very good English, but he wanted just to hear those intonations that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were using. He wanted the authenticity of the language, of their native language to hear. So even if a person doesn't speak English, he sort of wants the sound of it because it sounds authentic, rather than when it is dubbed.
All right. And I think it's
we have Sergey, we have several people who joined just now, and perhaps they do not understand what's going on. Please, guys, open the chat. You will see the questions we are discussing now. And please turn on the cameras to let us see you. Perhaps you want to share your opinion on the matter. And besides, we don't have enough time to discuss all the questions. Perhaps we should choose. Aliyah, will you choose something to your liking?
Like we were talking about the ways to sort of enlarge your command, or like ways to improve your English. I think there's all the same ways that we have just mentioned. So they should be
really
natural, emotional, inkling, emotional connection to what you are seeing, hearing, reading. And it gives you the impetus to actually do anything to improve your command if you just like what you see. I think connection is number one here.
And I think is, yes, very important is English is the language of the internet. Particularly important language of online communication, yes, and of content, I mean, of internet. And another thing is probably it's most important language for business, for doing business around the world. So, and travel as well, yeah. So can communicate in different countries, and again, majority of people do speak English. So
also a good way to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Yes,
so you have to learn it in the end.
That's correct. And plus you can study all over the world. So in any university abroad, you can undertake English language courses. So again, it's a big advantage. So and it's like gives you an access to to multiply cultures. Yeah, diversity of cultures.
Yeah, online education is a huge factor also. Yeah, with these possibilities of modern era, it gives a huge advantage. So
absolutely. Again, it's help you to meet new people. Yeah, it's by statistics, it's an official language of more than 53 countries in the world. So.
And I think I have some statistics for science. Like 20 years ago, it was like 75% of all science was in English, because there were some German articles and French, written in French. But now I think it's like 97% or something of all science in the world is in English.
Well,
so
you see,
if you're a scientist, you have no other choice but to study English. Or if you are an aspiring scientist, so to say.
Yeah, that's proves what we are talking about. Yes, and it's a truly it's a global language. Plus, again, it can help you with your job mobility. It's if you want to work abroad, you can get a job. Yeah, if you speak English, it's the main factor. Yeah, essential skill. And that's how it is. So.
All right. Well, I see that there was an interesting conversation here in the main hall, and there were some other things being discussed in the breakout rooms. Would you like to share some of the views, some of the ideas that you heard? You can unmute yourself and have a go. Okay. Anyone?
In our room, we talked a lot about offensive language, and whether it is appropriate or inappropriate to use it. And yeah, of course, it's inappropriate to use it in public places. So, or in presence of children. So nowadays, unfortunately, so people use it at home, and children, they don't notice the difference. So they just use it in schools, in public places, even sometimes in classes, because they don't understand that their parents use these words in their presence at home. And so they don't understand that it's inappropriate to use it in public places. So even in classes, sometimes they come.
Family should be considered a public place then.
Yeah, and so we also talked about using offensive language, not being a native speaker. And what I've learned, what I learned when I was a student, that it's also really inappropriate, because as a not being a native speaker, native speakers, they always like distance you from their culture. There is always a certain distance. So it sounds sometimes really ridiculous when you use such words in a foreign language, not being a native speaker.
Yeah,
So
you need to use them judiciously.
You should mind your language as a foreigner, because it sounds
Yeah, it's a very important, very contentious topic, and I'm glad that you brought it up, and we had a chance to talk about it as well. Right, so moving on to the next point, which is our past. Yeah, let's think back.
All right, round number 2. Do you ever reminisce about the time when you were learning English at school, university? What activities did you find most enjoyable? Which methods did you find most effective? Do you use them with your students? Were there any activities, tasks that made you feel down in the dumps? I mean, unhappy. Can you think of some methods that are now forgotten, but definitely deserve a comeback?
Right, so who knows, maybe there were some things that you thoroughly enjoyed as an English student and would like to use, or maybe are already using with your students. So again, maybe the phrases that could be useful are like learning English or teaching English is such a rewarding experience, right? Many techniques have fallen out of favor, undeservedly perhaps, right? You can also say my love or my interest in English was triggered by something. And in my instance, for instance, it was the Beatles songs, actually. You can say I was never thrilled to bits about rote learning, learning something by heart very monotonously. So that can definitely put a damper on every lesson. Yeah, I hope we have the Lexis in the chat. Yeah, great. So let's take a bit less time, like maybe 8 minutes to talk about that. I will recreate the rooms. Okay. Please accept the invites. Okay. The floor is yours.
All right, so.
Hello.
Yes, hi Alexander, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So what do you think about like the methods? Some teaching techniques or methods of learning English? Does anybody have any ideas?
I may say that my English interest in English language was triggered by my school teacher. I guess it's a common story when you meet a special teacher in school of any subject, but particularly English, and it makes I don't know, it helps. It really helps to develop yourself in this direction or that direction, and so it happened with me.
Right. So she inspired you, right?
Yeah,
Inspired you,
totally.
right?
She made a special atmosphere. The class was divided into two groups, and we were a small group, and there was this special atmosphere of I don't know, of a society, some kind of a society, and she did it brilliantly. So
All right, very well. Now, if you'd like to really discuss any like particular methods, I don't know if you heard about. There's quite a few of them. Now, for instance, like a Pimsleur English methods. Has anybody heard about it?
No.
Paul
What
Pimsleur.
could it be?
Paul Pimsleur.
Pimsleur?
Yes. P-I-M-S-L-E-U-R. Paul Pimsleur. It's a patented method, and it's quite well known around the world. And he, what it is, it consists of a series of audio courses, about 30 lessons each, and the length of it is about 30 minutes. So the idea is that person like who study English language can concentrate for that amount of time. For like it's 30 minutes that they write. That's exactly how much time he needs to done the maximum concentration in learning English for 30 minutes. So that's well, that's his approach. That's his idea, and it's quite well known, Pimsleur. Another one, if you know, it's a Schechter method of Schechter.
That name is familiar to me. Yes.
Okay. That's like there's a three stages, like a lexic, then practical, and correction of grammar and pronunciation. Another thing, it's Dragunkin, method of Dragunkin. I don't know if you heard about it. And,
well, he was popular maybe in the 1990s.
I'm not quite. I can't tell exactly about the what when in what period it was well known. You said in 60s, right?
No,
in 90s.
Ah, in 90s. I'm sorry. 90s.
Once my mother bought a book. It was in 1998, by the way, by Vitaly Dragunkin.
Actually, he's Alexander Dragunkin. Well,
maybe I am mistaken with the surname. Maybe another name.
All right. Another, just for an example, like Petrov, method of Petrov. And
on TV, on Kultura channel on TV, yes.
Yeah. Polyglot.
Another is Ilya Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ilya Frank. That's another one, very famous one. And Umin, methods of Umin, Evgeny Umin. And Zamyatkin, methods of Zamyatkin. I don't know if you're familiar with all of that. Very effective. But if you have to add something to discuss, please go ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting that you're mentioning Russian names, because like the first one, it's actually audiolingual method. It was known from the 60s, I guess. It's from the US Army training, this audiolingual method. So
Okay.
from the States. And I think it was just adopted and then adapted by some, I don't know, Russian entrepreneurs. So to say that all these methods are well known. There was a grammar translation method, this audiolingual method.
Yes.
Like connected to body, like total bodily response that you have.
Total physical response, yeah, total physical response.
Yeah, but I think that's like when communicative approach came, it just sort of obliterated all those like methods, because it's now like an approach. And I think there's a common misconception about methods because they don't take into account the way cognitive psychology works, because we work mostly with memory. And whatever method you can try to work on the memory, whether good or bad, like as audiolingual, just repeating, or rote learning, it would work, or you can entertain people and make them interested. So whichever method you try to work on the memory, it actually works. But I prefer to interest students with something. They should be interested. So this is the only motivation that makes your memory actually like memorize something. The more interesting the material.
That's a good idea. Yes, I agree with you, Ali.
I mean,
right. So the more connection they have to their own lives, what they're doing in their own lives, what they're interested in. And also, I think this like kind of aspect when you have a communicative class. Sorry, I don't hold the conversation. Maybe some more people want to come in. No?
Yeah, they're coming from breakout rooms, but please go on. We'll catch up.
Yeah, sure. So I see it like when I teach my classes, I see it like a campfire tales. So we have some input, whichever sort of sensory channel it comes from, whether you hear it, whether it's music or a piece of text or a piece of film, it all goes into your head. And then you sort of create some semantic matrix of all the topics, all the cultural zeitgeist that you have. And then they process it in their own ways. They can talk like in a dialogue with another student or with me, or they can draw something, or they can produce a text. And then at the end, usually like at the end of the month, they have some sort of a presentation. Again, they can use whichever channel they choose. They can show something, they can film a video, they can record a song in English, but then it becomes their like personal connection to what actually they're expressing. So if, like, let's say some particular topic like food or something, what is the cultural zeitgeist of this right now in the Zoom era? It's now like food deliveries and so on and so forth, all these food services, and they can sort of relate to it right now and produce their thoughts, feelings, emotions, or experiences with other students just because it is like the moment feeling. So that is kind of an approach I use. I try to make it as relevant to my students as possible.
All right, I see. And what's the name of this? What's the name of this method? The communicative language teaching, or is it like task-based learning? What's the exact?
I think right now it's a whole mixture of, it came from communicative approach, but then there was interactive learning, task-based learning, project-based learning, whichever way you call it. I call it like a campfire tales approach, where everyone has like something to offer, some sort of story on the topic.
That's so cool. Thank you so much. I've been working around. Lots of approaches have been mentioned. But basically, it's a collection. There is this term now, you know, like a holistic eclecticism, or because people were mentioning some dictations that they used to have in the past as they, you know, in their childhood. But now, if you work with children, total physical response, TPR was mentioned, task-based learning was mentioned, grammar translation method that used to be very popular in our childhood has now been replaced by communicative method, but still in some institutions it's still used. Lexical approach, all that kind of stuff. So a lot to discuss.
Silent way, there is one kind of another interesting method. Silent way, yes.
So principled eclecticism, a lot of different approaches. Right, so our next stop is a little video where we will enjoy this perfect, wonderful received pronunciation of Stephen Fry, an English actor. You may know him from a TV series Jeeves and Wooster, if I'm not mistaken. He's also a comedian and a writer, one of the most well-educated and accomplished English speakers. He shares his views on pedants, people who care more about accuracy, grammatical accuracy, rather than about the beauty of evolving language. I apologize for the quality of the video. Let's hope that the sound is okay. Yeah, let me know if you can hear everything. We will then send a link if you want to look it up on YouTube, the full video, you will get it. So please let me know if you hear the sound.
For me, it's a cause of some upset that more Anglophones don't enjoy language. Music is enjoyable, it seems, so are dance and other athletic forms of movement. People seem to be able to find sensual and sensuous pleasure in almost anything but words these days. Words, it seems, belong to other people. Anyone who expresses themselves with originality, delight and verbal freshness is more likely to be mocked, distrusted or disliked than welcomed. The free and happy use of words appears to be considered elitist or pretentious. Sadly, desperately sadly, the only people who seem to bother with language in public today bother with it in quite the wrong way. They write letters to broadcasters and newspapers in which they are rude and haughty about other people's usage and in which they show off their own superior knowledge of how language should be. I hate that, and I particularly hate the fact that so many of these pedants assume that I'm on their side. When asked to join in a "let's persuade this supermarket chain to get rid of their 5 items or less" sign, I never join in. Yes, I am aware of the technical distinction between less and fewer, and between uninterested and disinterested, and infer and imply and all the rest of them, but none of these are of importance to me. None of these are of importance, I said there. You'll notice the old pedantic me would have insisted on none of them is of importance.
Okay. Which brings us to the next point. I still want to have some time for the quiz, so we will breeze through it rather quickly, hopefully. Yeah, it's basically the discussion between prescriptivists, pedants, who say that state verbs cannot be used in a continuous form, or like less should be used only with uncountable nouns. Yeah, and on the other side, there is a camp of descriptivists. Yeah, they say it's okay to say I'm loving it. Yeah, to take a look at McDonald's advert. It's not a crime to say buy 5 items or less, etc. So a question for us to discuss in breakout rooms is this: which view do you side with? Yeah, which camp do you support? Do you think that these two approaches can be somehow reconciled into some coherent philosophy? A very contentious topic. What is more important, teaching grammar or teaching vocab? Yeah, some people like Hugh Deller says that it's lexis that is more important. So if you have time, one more question for you. What is more useful for an English teacher? To read an English language teaching methodology book or to read a fiction in English? Okay, so let's take like about, I don't know, 5-7 minutes to briefly talk about these subjects. Okay, and then we will have some time for our quiz. Here you go. You got the invites. Please open the rooms, open the invitations. Now stop sharing.
All right. So what we like to say about these 2 points of view, prescriptivists, descriptivists.
No, I feel abandoning speaking all the time. Maybe someone else would start a conversation and join in.
Well, this one is a little bit tricky. I have to think about it, like what to say. The point is, like, you have to be more strict, right, to use like a grammatical correct, like grammatical language, or to be more another side.
Generous maybe towards people who make mistakes.
Yeah, in that case, maybe you have to be an English teacher to really to have your point of view. For myself, I like descriptivist way better, but to be not so strict. No, that's my vision.
You mean it's more useful, more to the point?
Yeah, in some situation, you just it's all right, like to say it in a free, to express yourself more freely, maybe in a free way. But I don't know what's the English language teachers have to express their opinion on that.
I think
I'm not quite sure
today it's quite normal not to correct mistakes all the time, and to let students talk more, and not to be shy, not to be afraid of mistakes. I understood that when our students go abroad to study at some British schools or some Malta school or somewhere else, they admit that only Russians are afraid of making mistakes. As for the others, they speak freely, they feel comfortable in English, though they know much fewer words in English. They are not afraid. That's the point. And besides, we are to correct mistakes only on the topic which is being taught at the lesson at the moment. So today we are studying, for example, phrasal verbs. So please correct only phrasal verbs if students make mistakes. Do not correct everything all the time. And perhaps our speaking will be more fluent in this case, and our students will be more confident. That's my point of view. I don't know whether others agree with me or not. Perhaps someone else wants to share their opinion. I see that Irina, Oля, Angelika, perhaps somebody can share their opinion.
I'm actually sitting on the fence here, and I didn't quite get the question, whether it is about correcting mistakes or whether it is about like your general feeling towards mispronunciation of the words.
I think it's
about correction. If it's about correction,
but
I think it's more.
If
it's got more to do with feelings, I think.
Yeah, I also think so. Because if it's about correction, I don't have to do that often because I usually teach advanced students, so they have quite a good command of English. But even like if you talk about your native language, linguists usually have very easy approach to that. They actually try to, I don't know, write down, jot down, and think what is happening conceptually, why this mistake is made, what is it this word is confused with, or something. But sometimes I think everybody has like their own list of words that he or she doesn't really like. I don't like feminisms, for example, but that's like just my emotional reaction. I don't like the sound of them in both in Russian or in English. I don't like these words, but that's just like an emotion. It's not sort of like an academic approach to this mispronunciation.
Mm-hmm. Right, welcome back, everyone. I heard some heated debates in the rooms, but I really have to let some of you go now. I know that some of you have lessons like at 6, but you can find the link to the quiz that we're gonna have now in the chat. Yeah, so let me just quickly walk you through it. I'm sorry that I'm rushing, but an hour is never enough, unfortunately. This is what we're going to do. There are several questions over there. Please record your answers somewhere, yeah, on a sheet of paper, because we will be checking them in the end of the session. If you see a pictogram like this with a comma, it means that the first sound has been removed. Yeah, so basically a bear becomes an ear. Yeah, the first letter was removed, not the sound. Okay, so I want to make sure that you can all follow the link. Let me stop sharing and show me if you could open it. Yep, thumbs up if you could open the link. Good, good, good. You will be working in breakout rooms. Thanks. Maybe it's a good idea for one of you to share your screen so that the others can see and work together. Or if you don't want to, you will have the questions in front of you, in front of your eyes. Yeah, let's take 8 minutes for that so that we can come back and check everything later. I'm recreating the rooms. Hopefully you will get mixed up and work with new people. Okay, please accept the invites. Okay, joining. Along with Ekaterina. Okay, so Sergey, you could start sharing and solving the puzzles.
Okay, so I'll just share my screen. Just 1 second.
Sure.
Just 1 second.
Okay, there are many people who haven't joined. You are invited to other rooms. It will be more convenient if you actually go there.
So can you see it?
Yeah,
can you see it? All right. So question 1. Anybody can see it?
Yeah.
All right.
Clearly.
The most commonly used letter in English is 1A, 2S, 3E. So E. All right. So, but somebody have to write it down. All right. Please, somebody keep notes.
Okay, I will.
Alia, you will write it down. All right. So, first answer is E. All right. Everybody agree with that? No objections? All right. Question number 2. The sentence about a fox and a dog contains every letter of the alphabet and is called an ambigram, a pangram, a palindrome. So,
Judging by the morphology, I think it's pangram.
I think so too. Yes, I'll go with it. All right. So, number 2. Oh, no objections? Right, we'll go with 2, right? 2?
Yeah, number 2.
Okay. What is the one thing that all wise men, regardless of their religion or politics, agree is between heaven and earth? That's a tricky one. Any ideas? Any clues? Something in between. Yeah.
Is it like atmosphere?
Atmosphere. No. Has it? Does it have something to do with physics, or is it even more tricky?
Can be anything. I'm not sure. On that one, I'm quite not sure. Something between heaven and earth.
Is it? If it's a question about language, there could be something else. But if it's just psychological,
I think it's related to language. Yeah, it's something. wrote some expression or some, yeah.
So these two words has has some kind of heaven.
So any ideas?
E-A?
E-A?
Yeah, digraph, like two letters, this digraph EA they have in common.
Okay.
Between them, I don't know.
For myself, I don't have any ideas about it. It's quite, I don't know. I might suggest between heaven and earth. Heaven and earth.
And.
And
that's all right. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, probably you're right. Yeah.
Yes, I remembered. I heard this question before.
All right then. Okay, so we go with the end. All right, got it. So. So the next one. Just one sec. What is the most frequently used noun in English? Man, time, way. I think it's
way.
Way.
I propose time. I think it's time.
In our politically correct times, I don't think a man is used much.
Yeah.
No.
True.
I think it's time. Number 2.
No way.
No, I think it's time.
Okay.
There's a.
Okay, we'll go for time.
All right.
So I wrote it down.
Everybody? All right. So what is the next letter in the following sequence? I think it's a counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should be 8. Should be 8.
It's E.
E?
If you say it's 8, so the
Yeah.
letter is E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, the first letter, yes. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's E, yeah. Does
Okay,
everybody agree? All right. So, can you think of a one-word answer to this riddle? Rich people need it, poor people have it, and if you eat it, you'll die. What is it? Again, it's quite tricky word.
Yeah, we have 1 minute left. I'm closing the rooms.
Anything?
And the line in the bottom is not the number of letters. It's just a line. Sorry.
All right, let's think about next one. Question 7. This adjective was invented by Shakespeare. Solve the rebus. Fly, right? Fly. Deduct first letter. Should be fly.
Lie.
Lie. Yeah, that's probably the correct one. Yeah. So we'll come back to this one. Any ideas about this one? Question 6.
Maybe we should go to the next one. Is there anything else? Or
No, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
the last one.
the last one.
I see.
Question 6. We have to solve it. So.
All right, Sergey, I'll have to ask you to stop sharing the screen, and I'm gonna let the answers out.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
No, on that one, yeah. Don't have an idea.
Yeah, could you please stop share the screen and I'll, Right, let's check. I'm really sorry that some of the questions were misleading in that you thought it was the number of letters, whereas it was just a line, basically. So if you answered E over here, you were correct. Yes, good job. What about this one?
Engram.
Should be number
Actually,
3.
it's a
Pangram.
pangram. It's a pangram. Yeah, a sentence that contains all of the letters of the alphabet. And it's usually used to try the typewriters, to try out the keyboard, stuff like that. Okay, what about this one?
Horizon.
And we guessed in our group, yes, and
Bingo. Yeah. Well, next time I'll make sure that the line is a straight line and not a dotted line. Yeah. My bad,
No.
I'm sorry.
I got it.
Okay, what about this one?
Way.
Way.
That's what I thought, but actually...
But it's time. Should be time.
Yep. Number 1, the top word of English language. Oh, this one was tricky. Any guesses?
O.
yes. E. We know E. Yes.
Why E? Could you explain?
Yeah, because
It's just a sequence.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5.
yeah.
Bingo.
Hey.
Bingo. Good job. Oh, this one was tricky.
The trickiest.
Nothing.
Nothing.
We have no idea.
Nothing here.
Nothing.
Why would you die if you eat it?
Nothing. Yeah.
If you don't eat anything, you die. Yeah, you eat nothing,
Yeah,
you
you eat
die.
nothing, you die.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, and this one?
Lonely.
Lonely.
Good job. Yes, L on E. Yeah. And
Fly.
the first letter removed, lonely. Yay. Cool.
Oh.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming. As usual, you're always welcome to join us at Pearson Learning Studio in Ostranka. And you can follow us on social media. Yeah, both on Facebook and Instagram. Not the club as such, but the whole of the academy. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any comments, you're always welcome. And thank you so much for coming. I know how hard it is to find time in your busy schedules.
Thank you, Tatьяna.
Thanks.
It was
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you.
It was great.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to hang around here. So if you have any questions, I'm still here.
Thank you. Bye.
very much,
I can
Tatьяna.
Yeah, thanks a lot. See you soon, hopefully. Let me stop
Bye-bye.
the recording.